And then this is the chapter we have been discussing. I think we came till this part of the chapter. So Krishna in this chapter gives us the process of linking with him through the process of Dhyan Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga or the 8-limbed yoga. But before he starts to talk about the Ashtanga Yoga, he talks about the importance of Nishkam Karma Yoga. Because without Nishkam Karma Yoga, it is very difficult for one to progress to the Dhyan Yoga. And he says that Nishkam Karma Yoga has 2 stages. Yoga Rukshu stage, which is the beginning stage in which work is said to be the means, and then an advanced stage which is called Yoga Ruddha stage, where one can give up the work. And then he discusses about different stages of practice of Dhyana Yoga. And then he says that Arjun portrays a question. What was the question that Arjun portrayed last time we studied? After Krishna describes everything and culminates in Samadhi, which is a perfection of Ashtanga Yoga, Arjun puts up a question. What was the question?
Mind is unsteady, difficult to control.
Turbulent, obstinate, very strong, difficult to control. And then he says that the practice of yoga that Krishna has explained is very palatable to him. Yeah, he's going to do it right away. Is Arjun going to do it right away? It's very, very palatable to him.
Nope.
No, Mataji.
No.
He says this is unendurable and impractical. He can't even start to think about doing it. But here we are. If I ask this question, wherever we go and we ask this question, do you think you can do it? People still think they can do it. But Arjun can't do it, but we will do it. So we are better than Arjun. So that's an expression of pride of the mind. It's not that the person is... so the more we are covered with that false ego, false ego means a false identity of oneself. The more further we go away from the reality. Okay. So Krishna says, yes, Sanshayam Mahabaho Mano Durnigraham Chalam. Yes, without doubt, this is very difficult, but it is possible by Abhyasena Tukantaya Vairagyena Chagrahyate. So by Abhyas or practice and Vairagya or renunciation. And when we discussed what are the 2 meanings of the word Abhyas. I'm sorry, Vairagya. Do you remember what were the 2
Detachment.
meanings? And very nice. And 2 meanings of the word Vairagya. Detachment and the second
One
meaning.
is special attachment, Mataji. Vishesha
Vishesha
Raga
Raga.
and
Very nice. Special attachment to Krishna and detachment from the material elements, which go hand in hand. So Krishna says that it is a matter of the obstacle is in the mind. The obstacle is not outside the mind. It's a very deep and introspective topic. And of course, we take inspiration from the lives of the acharyas. So it's okay, going to Krishna, the problem is in the mind. If we ask commonly, you go, you preach, you're on Bhakti Shastra, you're expected to preach, right? You're preaching. And then you ask this question, what do you think some of the obstacles that you have in progressing in Krishna consciousness? I actually did a survey one time. Let me pull up if I can. But in the meantime, I want you to raise your hand. I mean, I will spend 2 minutes on this practical application aspect. What are some of the obstacles in progressing to Krishna? Let me see if I can pull up what I did on the survey one time. Why don't you just unmute and let's say you're preaching and then you go and then you ask this question to the crowd. What do you think are some of the obstacles in you to become Krishna conscious? So what will be the possible answers? Just speak, okay? Because I'm on the background looking for my survey results. Tell me what the people will say usually.
No time.
Okay.
No time. Okay, very nice. Very nice. No time. Lack of time. What else?
The youngsters says that not at this age, when we grow old, at that time, maybe try to go for the Bhakti.
Very nice. So our surrounding like noises tell us to wait. Okay, very nice. What else?
I have many more things than these, than taking to spirituality, like career, money, all those things are.
Very nice. So, okay, okay, I got my survey results. Okay, let's see. Yes, so, I have other things to accomplish in life. Okay. What other are some of the reasons that you will encounter?
I have a family to take care of. I have a job to do. I have to take
Okay.
care of my Laddu Gopal, my live Laddu Gopal, my children. They are the live Laddu Gopals.
Yeah, very nice. Amazing, amazing. Okay, very nice. So, these are some of the things that they said. So, the question, you can modify the question. Says, okay, what are some of the obstacles in thinking of Krishna 24/7 in our lives? So, the lifestyle that we lead, I had divided into, I said, okay, tell me this is an external obstacle or an internal obstacle. So, E, when you see, is like external, and I that you see is an internal. Okay. So roles and responsibilities in our day-to-day life, material desires and plans to be happy, anger, greed, attachment, envy, illusion, the 6 obstacles of mind. Sleep and awake schedules, long-time association with material world, inattentive chanting, unsteady mind, non-Krishna conscious association, comfortable bubble, comfort in comfortable zone, fear of being judged by others to belong to a cult, personal convictions holding us back to move forward, diet, are we eating only Krishna prasadam, forgetfulness, guilt of coming in touch with Krishna consciousness late in life. Can you believe that's an obstacle? Like it's a self-feeding prophecy that because I've come late in life, I won't be able to do it. So why to, bother? So unworthiness, a lack of qualification to proceed in Krishna consciousness. So most of the reasons we came when we did that assessment was like internal, less are external. The red ones are the only ones which are external out of the 15. So 1, 2, this is internal, external both. 3, 4, 5, 6. The rest are all internal. So why I'm saying this is that we have a tendency to pass on the responsibility of our problem to someone else because it is easy. Okay, but Krishna doesn't appreciate that. Krishna wants, if Krishna would have appreciated that, then Krishna's reply to Arjun's queries would have been that what to do, what to do, Arjun. You have to fight because you're surrounded by all these people who are greedy, who are unworthy, who are non-devotees. Does Krishna ever say anything like this to Arjun in the entire conversation he has with him? Ever have you read anywhere? Krishna, what to do? Arjun, what to do? You have to fight. Because if you don't fight, then these people are going to devour your thing and they're greedy, they're this, they're that. Is Krishna ever talking about anyone else other than Arjun's internal dialogue? Is my
No,
question
Mataji.
No, Mataji.
No, Mataji. Not at all.
No. Earlier he said, no, Krishna, that if you don't fight, then you will be, not a Kshatriya. You will be losing your position, and you will be mocked about.
Ah.
They will be,
Insulted.
yeah, you
But
will be
then
insulted.
is he saying like, okay, when we pass the blame to others, the dialogue will be something like that. What to do, because these people are so, what do you say, so pressing. They're so non-Krishna conscious. They're so greedy. They're so this. So what to do? I have to do it. Is the dialogue like that, or is Krishna emphasizing on Arjun's growth, internal growth? Whatever he's saying is meant for Arjun, or is he finding fault in others? What is the context of that? Even if Krishna is saying like that if you don't fight, then don't think that they will say thank you, Arjun, for not fighting. But on the contrary, they're going to scorn you with disrespectful words, and for a Kshatriya, disrespect is worse than death. That is what he says. So, but is he saying that they are the one who have learned to disrespect from their birth? Or is he saying, Arjun, you need to get connected to who you are, both constitutionally and conditionally? What is the verdict? What's the
I understand
verdict?
your point. Yeah. It's
So,
all about Arjun's internal growth.
yeah, so basically what I'm trying to say, Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada said bhakti is an esoteric process, right? Esoteric. There are two words, exoteric and esoteric. Bhakti is an esoteric process, which means that it comes from winning one's own wars. The war is not outside. It's not that I am fighting someone else. It's not that because I am surrounded by all these people, or I am living in a house where my relatives are not Krishna conscious, or this or that is a reason why I am not Krishna conscious. That is like passing one's responsibility to someone else. I am not saying that one may not have a difficult situation in life, but that's just a situation. That's not your determination. That doesn't determine in any way that how far are you going to go in your Krishna consciousness. See, we were reading about Madhavendra Puri, right? In Bhagavatam class for me yesterday, for India it is today. And if you read Madhavendra Puri pastime in Chaitanya Chaitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhupada writes there that Madhavendra Puri, Krishna tested Madhavendra Puri so many times. Right? He told him to get him out of the bushes, and he told him to establish him on the top of Govardhan. Then he told him that, okay, I'm still not happy, I'm still very hot and scratchy, now get me camphor and sandalwood. And he did. Madhavendra Puri did everything. He was already in touch with Krishna. He could have said, Krishna, no, you do it. You can do it, but no, he did it. Krishna told him, he did it. And then Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Prabhupada explains that what made Krishna do this. Actually, the Gopal DT tells Krishna, tells Madhavendra Puri, because I was testing your determination to set an example for others to follow. So if we are trying to become Krishna conscious, we have to take a risk. There's no way that we are going to become Krishna conscious without taking a risk. And the capacity to take a risk will come by winning internal battles. Okay, that is why Krishna says that for one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is difficult work. He is not saying for one who is surrounded by non-devotees, self-realization is difficult work. Or one who is sleeping, okay, he said all that. Sleeping, recreation, eating. But that is the secondary cause. The primary cause is because the mind is unbridled. So it's a mind game why is it a mind game? Because we are not giving Krishna to mind. Unless until we give Krishna to mind, the mind will be unbridled. You know what does unbridled mean? Krishna could have just said no, uncontrolled. He used the word unbridled. What does unbridled mean in English? You don't think like this when you read? Am I the only modern version of Bhagavad Gita? What does unbridled mean? So, if you have ever seen people who are doing horse
Says
riding.
Uncontrolled. Uncontrolled.
So why he didn't say uncontrolled? Why he said unbridled there? Nikhil Prabhu, what are you saying? What does Google say?
unconstrained.
And okay, very nice. So you see, the origin of the word is, if you've seen people who do horse riding, they are controlling the horse with a bridle, right? It's like the rein of the horse. So if we are not controlling the horse with that rein, then it will be very difficult. It will be very, very difficult to give a sense of direction to this animal. Similarly, if we don't give a sense of direction, goal, and purpose to the mind, it'll go wherever it wants to go. And we're living with it. Amazing. So self-realization is difficult work. But he whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means is assured of success. So controlled mind brings one to Krishna. trying to practice yoga. Prabhupada writes this in the purport of this particular verse. But I think we read this last week. While engaging the mind in material enjoyment is like trying to ignite a fire while pouring water on it. Similarly, yoga practice without mental control is a waste of time. You have a question?
Mataji, so I just wanted to conclude your earlier topic, unbridled. So it's you are putting that relation into the horse riding part.
The
You have
reign of the
controlled.
horse. Yeah, the reign.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay. So, destination of an unsuccessful yogi. It's everyone. I guess everyone knows this pastime, right? We don't have to go in the detail, but this pastime. Who is this yogi under the water, sitting and meditating?
Saubhari Muni.
Saubhari Muni. And the pastime comes in 9th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. So Saubhari Muni he had cut off his connection with the whole world, so I don't think that there is internet under the water. Is there internet under the water? Because scuba diving or something, do they do WhatsApp? Can they still check their WhatsApp down there? Anybody knows? Or if you swim, I should ask my children this. I don't swim, but if you swim, then you go under the water. Can you still check your WhatsApp? Yeah. Nobody knows.
No, Mataji, not as of now, but maybe the technology might improve in the near future. Yes.
So that's how technology might improve and our mental health might degrade.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yes.
So underwater, he chose underwater, very cautiously, because no humans will go and sit under the depth of an ocean. But he still fell down from his part. Because what are you going to do with the mind, Krishna says this in 5th chapter also. You're going to take this, what is it? Falgu Vairagya Kathyate. You're going to take all these sannyas and everything, but what are you going to do with your mind? You're going to go where your mind will go. So the real enemy is still there. So unsuccessful yogi, what is the destination? Okay, let's see. So Arjun is asking this on our behalf. What happens to the unsuccessful transcendentalist? Although he begins the process of self-realization with faith, he later desists due to worldly mindedness and thus does not attain perfection in mysticism. So what happens to that particular person? So is he he gives options to Krishna. Mighty armed Krishna, does not such a man who is bewildered from the path of transcendence fall away from both spiritual and material success and perish like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere? So what is it in Hindi? There is a saying, Dhobi ka gadha, what is it? Na ghar ka na ghat
Dhobi
ka.
ka kutta. Dhobi ka kutta.
Okay, na ghar ka na ghat ka. You're like, and you start this Krishna consciousness and then you don't succeed in it. So you can't really go back to a material happiness. I asked this question in the morning class. Now, whoever is chanting Hare Krishna and has associated with Srila Prabhupada in the form of his books and classes and his movement, do you really think you can go back to your normal life, which was before coming to Krishna consciousness? Even if you want to, you really think you can go back?
No, Mataji.
No, Mataji. No, Mataji.
Krishna will
Go
pull
back.
us back.
But going ahead is a problem. Going back is impossible. So, so what is the destination with no position in any sphere? Oh, now what? So then what? Is it like a riven cloud? So the cloud who appears to be going nicely in a windless sky or a calm sky, and then suddenly a gust of wind comes and it breaks the cloud in 2 pieces, 3 pieces, and then one piece goes there, one piece goes there, one piece goes there, and then it disappears. Have you seen that? So is it like, are we going to be like this? So this is my doubt, O Krishna, and I ask you to dispel it completely. But for you, no one is to be found who can destroy this doubt. So this is the way one needs to ask question to the spiritual master, that I'm asking you this because there's no one else who can actually destroy this doubt. Destroy this doubt. Not solve this doubt. You see, their conversation is filled with the vocabulary, which is quite interesting. Destroy this doubt. So Krishna says, Shri Bhagavanuvacha Parthaneva namutra vinashastasya vidyate nahi kalyana kritkaschit durgatim tata gacchati. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pritha, the transcendentalists engage in auspicious activities. Vinashastasya vidyate. Na mutra vinashatasya. Never. Does not meet with destruction either in this world or in spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. So once studying Krishna consciousness, the credit is permanent. It's never going to be, you will never be able to reduce it, basically. In this life, next to next life, thousands of lives, whatever time one takes. Because one has chanted Hare Krishna, it's going to, auspicious life has already started. Prabhupada gives a very interesting purport, this particular shlok, right? Prabhupada talks that there are two kinds of human societies. One is regulated and another one is non-regulated. And then he gives further division of who's regulated is the one who is following the rules and regulations for the purpose of material happiness. And the other one is who is trying to get liberated. And the third one is who's trying to become a devotee of Krishna, right? If you read Prabhupada's purport, it's very strategically explained. Regulated or non-regulated. And then he talks about people who are following the path of karma, fruitive activities to get material happiness are also of two types. One is one who is doing fruitive activities to get material happiness in the form of higher birth or enjoyment in higher planetary system. But the one is one who is following the regulatory principles with no attachment to the fruit. But interestingly, Prabhupada puts both categories under the one who is regulated human being, but is following the path of fruitive activities for material happiness. So basically, even if one is in Krishna consciousness, one can still have a desire for material happiness simultaneously. Simultaneously, one may be trying to become Krishna conscious, but simultaneously the desire to have a good family, desire to have happy children, happy grandchildren, or happy, nice living, can still be there. And the problem is that the mind plays such a game saying that, okay, this is a normal human being need. But you know what? Because I'm chanting Hare Krishna, so I'm such a good devotee. You see, this such a good devotee vocabulary of the mind itself destroys. It actually is a destructive mentality. How is it a destructive mentality? Have you heard of this thing called self-feeding prophecy of the mind? Like self-victimization, the self-feeding prophecy. I thought if we have a good self-confidence, for a long time I thought like this. Good self-confidence in one's growth in Krishna consciousness, and one is like having a very good conversation with oneself that, yeah, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, yeah, I'm reading this, yeah, I'm so good. Is it good? I thought it was good. But actually, as you read the writings of the acharyas, and as you associate with devotees who are more serious than we are, like personally associate, they don't have all these prophecies. They don't have these, yes, there is a sense of true ego that I am a servant of Krishna. But it's not that I am superior than others. There's a lack of superiority. Who is a Maha Bhagavat? There are three levels of devotees: Kanishtatikar, Madhyamadikar, and Uttamadikar. What is the thought process of a Uttamadikari? How is the Uttamadikari thinking? I'm better than others. Is that how Uttamadikari is thinking?
He
No,
thinks he's
Mataji.
fallen, Mataji, and he cannot preach to anyone. He's the most fallen amongst everyone.
Yeah. So see, it's like, so basically a self-feeding prophecy in this way. So one has to be very, very careful as to what the mind is playing. How can we be careful? By discussing the thoughts of mind with elevated devotees. Works the best. Rupa Goswami principle. Like, bring it out. Just don't live with it. Bring it out. And also, Swami Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj says the fifth, if he can make a fifth regulatory principles, you know, there are 4 regulatory principles, right? No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxication. He says if he can make one more regulatory principle, that fifth regulatory principles would be mandatory journaling. So having this conversation with oneself on a regular basis is so important, because then you can see that what are your demons, what are my demons. Right, nowadays we are discussing demons of Vrindavan and what do they actually represent, what was their past life, right? In Bhagavatam classes we are discussing, so you can see that each demon has a past which made them a demon, and also an anartha which it is representing in our life. Right? I think Kirti Mataji, you come for those classes, right? Tell me then, Putana represents what? Like, what is the anartha that she represents?
Pseudo Guru Mataji.
Yeah, so it's like, so you see, pseudo guru, you come with so much well decorated, nicely dignified lady, enter Vrindavan, no one checks you because you're actually, they welcome you, they show you where Krishna is, and you go and live Krishna, but you want to kill Krishna, not become a devotee of Krishna. So pseudo guru. What does Bakasura represent? What anartha? Kirti Mataji. Or I don't know if anyone else is coming in the class. You can. Rupa Mataji comes too, no? She's not here today. Bhai, what does Bakasura represent?
I think I missed the class, Mataji. I'm sorry.
So Bakasura represents hypocrisy. He's like standing with like deep meditation. Like he's a saint. But as soon as he sees Krishna, he swallows Krishna. So hypocrisy. No, I'm showing I'm a very good devotee, but inside me, there is so many things brewing up. So basically, what Krishna is saying is that don't worry, because if you come to Krishna consciousness, then your path of auspiciousness has already started, and it is not going to be dependent on anything to destroy it from externally. We can be hampered, we can be slowed down, and that too, also the obstacles are internal and not external. Right? The 6 obstacles of mind. What are the 6 obstacles of mind? Bhaktivinoda Thakur Prabhupada talks about. What are the 6 obstacles? Lust, anger, greed.
Kama, Krodha, Matsya,
Illusion.
sorry,
Loba,
pride, envy, greed, lust, anger,
Lust, anger, greed. Then
illusion,
Envy.
envy,
Illusion.
illusion,
intoxication.
madness. Right? The six obstacles of mind. Does it anywhere say that my mind is uncontrolled because I'm surrounded with circumstances in life which are hampering my progress in Krishna consciousness? Does it ever say? I'm not saying that surroundings don't have an impact in the beginning stages of our bhakti. I'm not saying that, but it doesn't begin with that. It's a very big misnomer. It doesn't. Nowhere in the writings. If you find somewhere, then let me know. Even if you read, my Guru Maharaj explained to us one time how to do attentive chanting. And he gave the principles that Bhaktivinoda Thakur Prabhupada discussed. I think it's Hari Bhakti Vilas. So I was listening and I was making notes what he's saying. And for example, he says that attentive chanting, make sure that if you're chanting in your house, these are practical applications. You're chanting at a time when you don't have a lot of things visible which are undone, not like the kitchen sink full of dishes or a laundry fold needs to be folded. or houses in a mess, make a corner in a house where you can really retract from all this, or better get up and go to the temple and chant with the devotees, right? For that particular moment of your life. But interestingly, he does not say anywhere, make sure that, how do I say? I mean, he does give a lot of pointers that how we can improve our chanting and make it more attentive. But he does not talk about someone else aiding you in chanting. All his recommendations are how can you improve your chanting on your own self. Like it's not like, okay, now go to your neighbor and tell them that I'm chanting, so don't make a noise. He doesn't say like that. So unsuccessful yogi, the pious birth, this is from verse 40 to 45, into good family, or revives, because this birth is very rare. So in that way, he revives the divine consciousness in early stage of life and naturally attracted to yogic principles. Right? For example, Prabhupada gives example of Bharat Maharaj. In his third birth, he was born as Jada Bharat. And his father tried to give him good Vedic education, but he behaved like a madman. Like Jada means mad, Jada Bharat. But until and unless he was discovered by, who is this king? Discovered by King Rahugana. Yes, to him to be an exalted transcendentalist. And then he spoke about the principles of Krishna consciousness. So basically, or we have Parikshit Maharaj, that birth is like that too. Prahlad Maharaj was instructed by Narad Muni, so he became auspicious. Any other example where a person was born as a transcendentalist, in the family of the transcendentalist? Srila Prabhupada gives a lot of credit to his own father in his journey of Krishna consciousness. Right? Who else can we give example? Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada. Right? Who else comes to mind? If someone comes to mind, you tell me. So the unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. This is like secondary. So one gets birth in a family of the transcendentalist, but other ones will get the birth in the family of righteous people, pious people who are very considerate of their actions, or people who are very rich, because Prabhupada explains that if somebody is rich, they don't have to waste time in meeting the needs of eating, sleeping, and defending, right? It's there. It's already set up. You don't have to waste time in job hunting or anxiety of losing money or resources. But there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. Is there a guarantee? Somebody is born in a rich family or somebody is born in a family of righteous people, they're going to become topmost devotees of Krishna. Is there a guarantee? There is a good chance, but is there a guarantee?
No, Mataji.
There's no guarantee. So Prabhupada adds a punchline that don't waste this life. Just go back to Krishna, because there's no guarantee. Or if unsuccessful after long practice of yoga, he takes his birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Certainly such a birth is rare in this world. So if somebody has practiced for a long time, then they come in the life. So the children born in the family of devotees are not ordinary children, because they have taken birth in that family after long practice of Krishna consciousness, but did not become successful. I went to Vrindavan in December, and then I was like going around with my father, and then somebody took us to this house. Said, Mataji, sit here, and the speaker is very nice. We'll give class. The speaker was like a 9-year-old boy, and I saw, and this child has become very famous. He can recite 2,000 verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. He talks from the age of 2. His mom told me from the age of 2 he started chanting Hare Krishna on his own, and now 16 rounds he chants more than 16 rounds. So I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at myself, and I'm looking at my children. Where are we? Now, such a wide gap, such a wide gap that I was so inspired by looking at that child that he is really trying to make this life very, very successful. So on taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success. So the children are naturally attracted. They don't have to be told 100 times to become Krishna conscious. But I've also seen that children who regularly associate with devotees also come at that level. They also try to become Krishna conscious like very fast, very quickly, very quickly. Do you have any examples of this in your life, in your experience, in your congregation, wherever you're situated? You have examples? Or in your preaching experience? They're not really, impelled.
We were in Muscat before migrating to Canada, Mataji, and there we, the Muslims are pretty strong there. So ISKCON was always undercover in a building or only inside the temple. And when we used to see them observe Ramadan and observe all their fasts so very religiously, even the small children will do. Our congregation children, they were getting inspired with that, and then they were following Ekadashi. They were doing all this services, and I have seen some children grow up really very well as a Krishna conscious person. That was a very good experience to see them grow like
Very
that.
nice.
Not my children and not me.
Very nice. Anyone else would like to share? Or your life? Very nice. So during COVID time, we moved to Gitanagari. I just locked my house and we just moved and started living in Gitanagari. Because school was online, right? So I would like go to work from Gitanagari. And I would leave my children there. So now Gitanagari is 430 acres, not like a house. No, whatever. You cannot have a house in 430 acres. You can't defeat it. And there are 90 some cows, there are 40 some peacocks, and then there's agriculture, so many activities. So Radha Damodar. So I said, okay, now this is your playground for I don't know how long if we go on living. This is what it is. Or even if we die, this is a good place. So this is secure either ways. So just be here. And I would go to work, and then when I will come back, I would hear Srimad Bhagavatam classes from them because they don't have anywhere else to go. They're locked up, and they have no one else to associate except the devotees who live there. So I saw like, I started getting complex also. My God, they're progressing very fast. It's good. It's good. But after we moved back home, I'm seeing that the growth has slowed down. So I could see that association of devotees is like a catalyst, it just adds that energy in life. And of course, when you go to Mayapur, you see all these children taking care of Radha Madhav's elephants. Please go to Mayapur. Don't end this life without going to Mayapur. You're going to miss out. And go and see Radha Madhav's elephants, and then how these boys, Gurukula boys, are actually doing so much and learning how to lead a fully Krishna conscious life. So by virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to the yogic principles even without seeking them. Such an inquisitive transcendentalist stands always above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. In Northeast America and also Canada, there is a youth group called the Sangha Initiative. Have you heard of it, Nikhil? The Sangha Initiative, TSI.
There is one group Madhuha Prabhu is leading. What's the name of that group? Festival of India.
Yeah.
And
This
there
is
is a
Florida.
bus. Yes, and we are in Halifax. We are having Rath Yatra on 15th and 16th of June. So the whole youth, they travel in the bus all over North America. It's a great association. I think hopefully my son will also join this time.
Very nice. Yeah, so there's this people, youth between 18 to 30 years of age. There's this initiative, the Sangha Initiative. So last year and the year before that, they had their retreat in Gita Nagari. And then they don't prefer very elderly devotees speaking, because says, okay, why don't you prefer very elderly devotees coming and giving you classes? Because, you know, they are young people, huh? They don't hesitate, because within 5 seconds of entering the class given by them, you hear that you're not the body or the soul. You hear that you're wasting your life. You hear that you don't chant, then you're not, your life is worthless. We are done. Said Mataji. We are done. We want to be innovative. So they invite speakers like Bhutavana Prabhavana Prabhu. You know, Bhutavana comes from UK. And he's like a pro. He gives like Krishna consciousness. Like, for example, I heard one of his class, he was speaking. I sneaked in. I was not invited. I'm not between 18 to 30 years of age, but I was there. He said, you see, you have all this energy of working. You have all this energy of doing so many things in your life. Let's say that you get up, you have to go to college or you have to go to your work at 9 a.m. and then you get up at 8 a.m. and you get in shower, get your breakfast, get yourself together, go out. Versus you get up at 4:30 in the morning, you go for Mangalarti, you chant Hare Krishna, you associate with devotees, eat Krishna Prasadam, attend the morning program, then go. So you see, there's a difference in energy. This is how he preaches, okay? I'm giving, that's why they like youth, younger people preaching. You see, what are you going to do with this energy? You're going to get up, get out of the house and be in that consciousness all day, which is going to drain you. Versus you get up early in the day and then you imbibe this mode of goodness and all these things early on, and then you get out of the house, which is going to inspire you. So you have to take an initiative. What do you want to do with your life? He's not saying you're not the body or the soul. He's not saying your life is worthless. He's not saying that only do this, otherwise you're gonna be like perpetually in the cycle of birth and death. I'm not saying that these are false preachings or these are wrong things, but the youth wants to hear something which they can apply every day in their life. Okay, because they're done with just chalk and talk kind of a thing. So very interesting, because and then we can imbibe these principles in them from a very young age. For that, we have to have that kind of energy as well. We have to have that kind of understanding as well. For that, we have to be free from fear. No, most of the direction or most of the ambition or most of the driving factor that drives a devotee in Krishna consciousness is fear. Do you know that? It's a fear. That fear that if I'll not do it, then I will lose this time and I'm going to perpetually be in the cycle of life and death and I'm going to lose my chance. It's true, it's not wrong, but it is not love of Krishna. It's fear. Okay? So, and when the yogi engages himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all contaminations, and ultimately achieving perfection after many, many births of practice, he attains a supreme goal. There's a difference here. So why Prabhupada is writing, or Krishna is saying, after many, many births of practice, because this yoga, Ashtanga yoga, may not be one lifetime game, especially in Kali Yuga. So Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita. Yogina, no, Gyanvan Mam Prapadyante, Vasudeva Sarvamiti, Bahunam Janmanam Ante. Gyanvan Mam Prapadyante, Vasudeva Sarvam Iti, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Right? So if you understand, now Manish will explain this to me. Says Bahunam Janmanam Ante means after many, many births and many, many deaths. Right? Bahunam, Bahu now means many, Janmanam. Ante. Ante means end. Janma means birth. Right? So if there's a birth, there's a death. Gyanvan Mam Prapadyante. So one who is situated in the knowledge of the absolute surrenders unto me. Mam Prapadyante. Vasudeva Sarvam Iti. And understands me to be everything. Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. That particular Mahatma is very, very rare. So if we start the practice of Krishna consciousness from Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga, then we will take time to actually attain the supreme goal. This is basically Krishna is now linking. He has already started to link to say that Bhakti Yoga is the best. So this is what he says. So the topmost yogi is a person who is worshipping Krishna with all faith, not going through the process of karma yoga or jnana yoga or hatha yoga or ashtanga yoga or dhyana yoga and then coming to bhakti yoga. Krishna says this: a yogi is greater than ascetic, greater than empirist, and greater than fruitive worker. Therefore, Arjuna, in all circumstances, be a yogi. So aesthetic is like one who's doing a lot of tapasya. Like empirist means who's getting a lot of empirical knowledge. And a fruitive worker, one who is trying to work. Krishna is saying yogi is greater than that. And that yogi, Prabhupada explains, is the one who's linking himself with Krishna. So in all circumstances, be a yogi. Basically, don't be without Krishna consciousness in any circumstance. This is Jayananda Prabhu, right? I think this is Jayananda Prabhu. His disappearance was 2 days ago. You know about Jayananda Prabhu, right? We keep his photo in all Rath Yatras in the front. Jayananda Prabhu, you know him or no?
No, Mataji. Please tell us.
No? Nobody knows Jayananda Prabhu?
I think he started the Rath, he made the first Rath in the North America.
Yes, he did. Not he West Coast, yeah, in ISKCON. Yeah, so Jayananda Prabhu came to Krishna consciousness. He was an engineer, I think, by qualification, and he came to associate with Srila Prabhupada, and then he very quickly took to the principles of Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada made him the temple president for the temple in Los Angeles, which was another very interesting story. It was a church, and Jayananda Prabhu was very compassionate. He would drive cab all day. You know, he was a temple president, but he would still drive cab because they wanted funds to start the movement. And then he would return at midnight, and then he would wash all the vessels in the kitchen. And then he would rest for a few hours, and then the day starts again. And I remember reading about him that if there is a conflict between two devotees, he is the temple president, all the conflicts will come to him. Then he would calm both the parties down and then encourage both of them to go back to the service to Srila Prabhupada. So basically, no one left the temple under his supervision. That's how you know a temple president. So and then he's an engineer, so he made the first Rath for ISKCON. But then he got leukemia, and he was very frail and weak. And then Prabhupada, he saw Prabhupada, he was in wheelchair. Prabhupada recalls that Jayananda Prabhu, even though there was so much bodily suffering, but he told Prabhupada, this body has to end, you taught me. So just it ends, it doesn't end, it really doesn't matter, because you have already given me such highest level of happiness. It's very hard to be of that particular caliber. How many of us can say that, okay, my leg is hurting, okay, my dear leg, you're going to be hurting because you are a material element anyway, so let me chant Hare Krishna. It's hard. He had leukemia and it's very painful. And then he left his body, and then devotees asked Prabhupada, where is Jayananda Prabhu? So he said, don't worry, Jayananda is very happily situated in the service of Radha Krishna and Goloka Vrindavan. So Prabhupada could say that. And then he said that he wants Jayananda Prabhu's photograph to be installed in front of all Rath Yatras. He wants his disappearance to be celebrated with the same mood as we celebrate the disappearance and appearance of our acharyas. And when I went to Mayapur last year, there's this Jagannath temple in Rajpura, I think. Over there is a Samadhi of Jayananda Prabhu. I saw. So this is the effect of becoming a devotee of Krishna, that one can surpass all these middle level or lower level issues. Okay, so Krishna says this. This is the last verse, which I hope everyone read, because this is most important element. Yoginam api sarvesham mad gater antaratmanaha shraddhavan bhajate yo mam yo me yukta tamo mataha. So, and of all the yogis, the one with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me, is the most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. Prabhupada explained in the purport the meaning of the word bhaja. Did you read? Anyone read? Bhaja. Tell me what you read. Tell me. Muted, you're muted. Nikhil Prabhu, if you're trying to talk to us.
Sorry. Bhaja has its root in the verb bhaj, which is used when there is a need of service. The English word worship cannot be used in the same sense as bhaj. Bhaj, worship means to adore and to show respect and honor to the worthy one. But service with love and faith is especially meant for the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So, well, yeah, so bhaja is not exactly worship, because bhaja has a loving, as a service entailed to it. Worship means to adore or to be showing respect. So Prabhupada explains that we can worship even demigods or other personalities who are superior to us, but we cannot lovingly serve them, because this word is exclusively for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in that way, Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam. In that way, if we only direct our loving devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we can achieve the highest level of yoga, which is Krishna consciousness. And of course, Prabhupada explains in the purport that karma yoga is an individual who's trying to link with Krishna with the process of work. Higher than that, when one develops knowledge and renunciation, is called Gyan Yoga. But higher than that, when one becomes conscious of the presence of super soul by virtue of work, by virtue of knowledge, by virtue of renunciation, and by virtue of physical practices of Ashtanga Yoga, then one becomes an Ashtanga Yogi or Dhyana Yogi. But highest is when one actually is able to associate oneself with the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the Sham Sundar form. Right? Prabhupada explains in the purport, and that devotee is the highest, Bhakti Yoga. So in all situations, try to strive for Bhakti Yoga. Right? This is theoretically we can understand, but are we applying it? How much are we applying it in our life is the question that remains in a very unsolvable mysterical way. Where is the gap? Where is the gap between Gyan and Vigyan? Gyan is knowledge, Vigyan is application of knowledge. Collecting knowledge is not difficult, because it's given to us. It's something which we are not doing it on our own. It's given to us, we just have to go through it. That endeavor we have to do. Vigyan, applying that knowledge with utmost seriousness to become Krishna conscious, is a big journey and a gradual process. Okay, I think so I think we end the chapter here. So this is just a summary of this chapter. So from first 4 verses, Krishna speaks about advancing in yoga through detached work. And then 5 to 9 verse, he talks about yoga ruddha stage, giving up work. Then 10 to 32, further stages in practice of yoga. And then 33 to 36, necessity of controlling the turbulent mind. 37 to 45, destination of unsuccessful yogi. And then who's the topmost yogi? See, in a regular conversation, if we are having conversation with someone else, generally, if it is a structured talk, then what is most important will be told when? Beginning, middle, or end? When will you say the most important thing that you really want that person to remember? When will you say that? Beginning, middle, or end of the conversation? When will you say that?
The end.
Huh?
In the end.
The end, yeah. So in the end, no, so you say, okay, if you don't remember anything else, it's fine, just remember it now, the last verdict. So the most important thing Krishna has put up in the end, that yoginam api sarvesham madgatirantaratmanaha Shraddhavan bhajate yo mam samay yukta tamo mataha. So, so most important thing is told at the end. It's okay if you don't understand what happened before. And this is also a link to middle third of Bhagavad Gita, which is nothing but full of bhakti. So topmost yogi, or how to become topmost yogi, how to practice Krishna consciousness. I think this is the last slide. Any questions, reflection, realizations, or corrections? I will stop this recording.